Alex wants to sew a pillow in the shape below. How many yards of thread are needed to sew the edges of the pillow? Okay, so it's asking us for this amount because they're asking for how many yards for the edges of the pillow. So that's something about circumference, right? Circumference tells us how many yards we need to go around the entire circle. So let's start with that. We can find this piece out because if you pretend it's a whole circle, then we know that red distance is 2 pi r. It's the circumference of the circle. Okay, so if we have, let's see, the 50 yards, I think they mean, this is a little tricky, I think they mean this distance is 0.5 yards and this is 0.2 yards. So the whole thing across, this is also 0.2 yards. All the way across is 0.9 yards. So that means the radius of the big red circle is just half of that. So it's 0.45 yards. So 2 times pi times 0.45. If you multiply the 2 and the 0.45, which we can do because the order you multiply it doesn't matter, we get 0.9 pi yards all the way around the entire circle. But we don't want the entire circle, right? Because we just wanted the blue area that I originally outlined. So we need half of the entire circle. So we're going to cut this in half. That gives us 0.45 pi yards. Okay, so we have this portion of the circle. This is 0.45 pi yards. And then we also need to add to that, there's this distance. We have plus a 0.2 pi, sorry, 0.2, no pi. There's this distance over here. That's also edges that we need to sew. So that's another 0.2 yards. And then we need to know, so we have this covered. We just need to know now this inside stuff that I'm drawing in orange. So same type of thing. That's half of the circumference of the smaller circle. So if the whole thing across is 0.5 yards, and this is 0.25 yards. So we have 2 times pi times 0.25. That's the circumference formula. 2 pi r is the circumference of this entire circle. Well, we don't want the entire circle, we want just half, so we're going to divide that by 2. Okay, so cleaning that up, all we have to do is add those up, and then we have the total yardage. 0.45 pi plus 0.2 plus 0.2, I'm going to make that 0.4, and then these two can cancel out, so we have another 0.25 pi. Let's see, round your answer to 1 decimal place. So we can do this all in our calculator. We can do 0.45 times pi plus 0.4 plus, actually let's stop there. Oh. I'm gonna convert 0.45 times pi first, just so I don't miss anything. 1.414, I'll say 1.414. So what happens when I plug in pi there. And then over here we got 0.25 pi, so 0.25 times pi, 0.785. Okay, so if we add everything up, 2.6 is what it rounds to. So 2.6 yards to go all the way around the outside of this shape. Circular area rugs are priced at $5 per square foot based on the circumference of the carpet used. So what is the cost of the largest circular area rug that will fit in Susie's dining room? So imagine you put a circular rug, it doesn't matter which part it goes in, there's a restriction. The circular rug can only be as big as the shortest dimension. The diameter can be as big as the shortest dimension. So there's a circular rug. 7 feet is what's really causing the restriction here. It's 7 feet in diameter, which means it's 3.5 feet in its radius. So that's the biggest, that's the largest circular rug that can fit in this room. You can draw smaller ones, but our goal is to find the price of the largest one. So we first need to find the square footage, because it's $5 per, wait, $5 per foot based on the circumference of the carpet used. Sorry. So I was thinking they're going to have us calculate square feet. We don't even need to know the radius. Well, yeah, wait. Yeah, we do. Sorry. You could just use the diameter, but we'll just stick to the same formula. The circumference is 2 pi r. So if you plug in 3.5 for the radius, just to make sure I'm not messing anybody up. 7 feet is the circumference, 3.5 is the radius. So pi times 3.5 times 2, right? 2, that's the circumference of a circle. So we get 7 pi for the circumference of a circle. Round your answer to the nearest whole number. So when we plug in 7 times pi, that's our circumference. But then it's $5 per foot of the circumference. So take the circumference and you got to multiply it by 5. So we're looking at $110 if we round to the nearest whole dollar, like they asked. Sandy wants to carpet the game room in her house. How many square feet of carpeting will she need to complete her project? If the diameter, that doesn't even, this is a bad semicircle. It starts to curve in, but they're saying this is a semicircle, so pretend that's half a circle. This is, the diameter is 12, and the base of the triangle is 5 feet. So this part right here they're saying is 5 feet. Okay, bases of triangles usually mean like going horizontally, with, going along, going with the x-axis, or going from left to right. It doesn't have to be the case though, so that kind of leaves some room for interpretation. Okay, so we have enough information. We need to find out the area of the black region. So what we could do is we could recognize that they've called this a semicircle. So the area of an entire circle is pi r squared. The area of a semicircle is just half of that. So our radius, they said it's 12 all the way across, so our radius is 6. So I'm going to punch in my calculator. 6 squared is 36 times pi divided by 2. That's the square footage of the black semicircle, 56.55. Just keep some decimals just to be careful. And then the area of a triangle is just 1/2 times the base times the height. So the area of that black triangle up there, the base is 5 and the height is 6. So we got 15 for that area. So if you add the area of the semicircle plus the area of the triangle, 71.55, and since the carpet's only sold in whole numbers, we got to round that up to 72.